Assalamualaikum. I'm just waiting for everybody to join in, and then we'll start. Okay, Sarah. So it looks like who we have on right now is Mariam, Fatima, Mona, Radia, Sarah, you're on, Khadija. I'm going to wait a few minutes.
Sure.
Until everybody has joined, inshallah, or as many people. Let's just give everybody a few minutes because since we only have two classes, I want to make sure that everybody knows what we're doing.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, I see Leanne's on.
Can everyone see my table fine? I'm using duct tape, so make sure it's not like.
Yes, Sarah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. It's not very unsecure right now, so I'm trying to resecure it.
If you want to take some time to fix it, you can, because we're not starting just yet. So
yeah.
So, Mariam, is this being recorded?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have a feeling a few people didn't know that they had to join for the Zoom call, so let me just check who else is supposed to be on. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So usually before I get started, I like to start our meetings with Surah Al-Fatiha, and then we're going to sort of do a rundown or summary of what we're going to do today, inshallah. And hopefully you'll have a better understanding of what to do, because a lot of this work is going to be independent. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. So let's see who we have here. So Mariam, Assalamu alaikum Mariam. Assalamu alaikum Fatima. Assalamu alaikum Mona. Assalamu alaikum Radia. Assalamu alaikum Sarah. Assalamu alaikum Khadija. Assalamu alaikum Leanne. Did I miss anybody? Okay. So hopefully everybody got their pillow packages. We have been delivering them today, and I apologize that they were delivered today and you haven't had a chance to look at them until now. But if you take your pillow packages out, and I hopefully you've looked at what's inside of each package, and I don't have a package for my own because we used a lot of little, Sarah actually did some test cases for us, so we don't have extras, but everybody should have 4 pillow cases, and they don't have any design on them yet. This is one that has the design. And then inside of each pillowcase, Sarah put some iron-on transfers that we're going to put on the pillowcases. She gave each person should have a needle and also some embroidery thread or floss that's included that we'll use with the iron-ons. And everybody should have an embroidery hoop. Okay, so I see Anissa, you just joined. Assalamu alaikum. What was I going to say? I think only Mariam was in my embroidery class. And a few of you might have done embroidery already and may know how to use the embroidery hoop. But first things first is that Sarah is going to show you how to do the iron-on appliques. And before we even get started, let me actually step back a little bit and tell you what we're going to do today. Sarah is going to show you how to do the iron-on applique. She's going to talk to you through what you have in your package and how that all works. And then I'm going to show you a couple of embroidery stitches that you can do. While the iron-on doesn't need stitches to hold it down, it does help secure it. So, and it does look nice too. And I think Sarah's tried to give you some coordinating colors, so it looks nice with whatever embroidery that you, whatever appliques you got. And the colors for the pillows, we tried to mix them up. So there's colors for men, colors for women, because we didn't know what would be the breakdown. So I know you may not like the manly color if you got it, but it's for a good cause, inshallah. So there's that. We're only going to have 2 sessions. So if you have questions in between, please message us on the WhatsApp group and we can help you, inshallah. I will be sending some videos on YouTube about different embroidery stitches that I'm going to do. And I don't think we're going to do more than 2, so they shouldn't be hard. And I think that's it, inshallah. If I can think of something, I'll let you know. So Sarah's going to start off with the iron-on, and then I will talk about the embroidery part of it, okay? And Halima, you're on. Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy to see you.
Assalamu
alaikum, everyone. This inshallah should be quick, easy, and painless, but you know, we say that in Allahu Alam. So bismillah. This is my just base fabric because I don't have a pillowcase in front of me right now. So I'm going to use this to iron on. I have a pillow because I'm on a countertop, and I learned the hard way that even if you have a small fabric between them, it's probably not good for the counter. 1 second. Not yes, Matt. And so, so this is a good example of what you have. It's, you know, a piece of cloth, and there's this white paper on the back, and so you have this paper, and if you peel it off, you should see a little piece. I'm going to try to bring it up closer, where it looks like there's something still on there. It's not sticky, it's just kind of shiny. Now, if you have something where it looks like this, where you're not getting that shiny side, that means either I didn't iron it very well or I was in a rush. So if you get that, it's an easy fix. All you got to do is stick it back on your ironing pad and just put your iron on. You don't need steam. Just put it on for a good 6 seconds. And then pick it up, and it should be able to disassociate at that point. It's still a little hot, so, and my daughter Asmat, who's 5, is really excited about all the crafts that I've been doing. So you peel it apart.
It'd be sticky.
Yeah, it's not sticky yet. Then you put it on top of wherever you'd like to iron it. And again, start on one side, move to the other, secure it. And you're going to want to move around the iron and keep it on there for a good, I'd say 10 seconds. Just because the fabric, you want to make sure you've got a really good secure hold.
Yeah, and this sock.
Yeah, that's the sock that I'm making. And so you're going to have it here like that. And it should be, give it a couple minutes to cool off because it gets really hot and then you can burn yourself.
It's my turn. I wanted to get a turn.
And so once that's done, you can start stitching on it. Now, some people have pieces that are completely solid with interfacing, and then some people will have like a square around it because I kind of ran out of interfacing material, so I at least wanted to make sure that it could bind, and you can stitch in the middle. There's not a problem, so it at least will stick to the fabric. If you have the case, just iron, pull it off, same thing, follow the same exact instructions, and it'll still work. So if you look at it here, it's now bound, and you can stitch on it. So that's it. Any questions?
Okay, so Sarah, thank you for that. So I was gonna just, if you could just explain to them like what you included and how you did the design and what they can do with it. I'm sorry that we don't have any practice ones anymore because we've distributed them to everybody. So we're just trying to go on what you guys have in your packages. So if you could just explain like how you made the appliques and like what design that they're going to make with it, and I can show them the examples that you gave me.
So in your package, you have the embroidery floss that matches your pillow and the fabric that's associated with it. And what I did was that I have this really thin crochet yarn, and I made some flowers. I can send that pattern. It's actually pretty easy, but I had a fine needle. I have a few patterns for crocheting if anybody would like. So I did that for one pillow. But because you have squares, what I originally laid them out to be, here's a square, was to be diamonds across. So 3 across will fit. And then you can do circle stitch it like a circle back stitch, and then do satin stitch inside of it. You could do embroidery around the whole pillow. You could fill in some of the shapes. The ones that I tried, I actually got the idea off of the internet. Like the hearts one was actually a card that I saw. Somebody had made a paper card and used that example. It's a little complicated, and but if you have a heart shape, just trace it and like make one on your computer. So you can literally go to paint, make like a heart, and then I would copy and paste that, make it a little bit smaller, make it a little bit smaller, and then you can print that out and trace it onto the back because it's just a paper backing. So you can trace on this and cut it out into whatever shape that you want it to be, and still iron it on and stitch on top of it.
So like, I think if what you're saying, Sarah, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you've given them basic shapes and they can make whatever they want with those shapes, and they can keep it diamond shaped if they'd like to.
Yep, and you can add buttons. Like, I think I had an idea of just like adding buttons. This is too miscellaneous of a package, so I didn't know how to divvy it up between everyone. But, you know, odds and ends, you can do buttons, you can do ribbon additions, you can do stitching. I think I wanted to keep it as plain as possible for you so that you could have your own artistic, freedom. Like, go where it takes you, and it'll look good in the end. I highly doubt, you can't really mess it up. It's your art, and I think they'll appreciate it either way.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so any questions for Sarah about the process itself for the ironing on?
Okay, this is so let me ask about the process, but I just wanted to ask if you have. So I joined the group just now, and I was wondering if you have any like pictures of completed ones.
Yeah, I'm going to show you that. Let me show you what Sarah did these. I didn't do these, so all credit goes to her for this. But hold on.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so this is one that Sarah's done. She made. Hold on, let me fix it. Okay. And I'm holding it lengthwise, so she put 3 diamonds, and then if you see up close, she cut out heart shapes and put them in the middle, and she put a button, and then she did running stitch to sort of secure it. And if I put it this way, you can see it's like this. So that was one idea that she had. And then she did cut out hearts with her interfacing. I know we've given you pre-cut interfacing, and we wanted this project to be easy, but if you have something at home like interfacing that you want to use or fabric you want to use, you're welcome to do so. We just wanted this to be an easy project, especially for beginners. So Sarah cut out hearts, and then if you see up close here, she did back stitch on it, and she used different embroidery thread for it. That's really cool. And then the last one that she did was this one. She just took like a fabric, the width of the pillow, and what did you use, Sarah? Okay, she stitched it down on the edges. She didn't even have to really sew it, but she stitched it down on the edges here, and she did a crochet flower. I don't know if anybody knows how to do crochet, or if your mom does. Usually crochet flowers. I mean, I'm not good at crochet, so I shouldn't be saying it, but like crochet flowers are supposed to be easy. If your mom or somebody else wants to make you a crochet flower, that'd be something fun to put in the middle too, and buy like a button, or if you have, I mean, a lot of people have odds and end buttons at home and other embellishments they can add. But even without that, with just using the thread and the interfacing that we've given, I think you guys can think of something pretty creative to make with these pillows. And I know this project is sort of really open-ended, so if you need ideas and you're struggling and you want me to help you out, please feel free to message me, especially since you guys are making 4 pillows and you could get stuck somewhere. So any other questions about the iron-on, the interfacing, and the, you know, what you have in your packages? I just wanted to tell you that my microphone is, I mean, my video camera is straight ahead and my computer's to my right, so that's why it looks like I'm not looking at you, but I am. So.
I wanted to show them how to put the hoop on whenever we're ready to move on. How to move it around in your pillow.
So before we move on, the only other question I had for you guys was, has anybody done interfacing, I mean, this fusible interfacing before? This iron-on, whatever you want to call it, iron-on patches, transfers, anything like that? I just am trying to get a feeling for who might find, you know, would find this project a little easier.
I've done it a couple of times.
You've done it before, Fatima?
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else done this before?
I've done patches before.
Okay. Okay.
That's awesome.
So I know this is sort of a larger class, but you know, message me or you can tell me now if you feel like this is a process that you feel is easy enough to do. I think it will be, even if you haven't done it before. And I wouldn't be so apprehensive about it because I think you're going to do a great job either way. But if you have any anxiety or nervousness about, you know, putting, because you get one chance or whatever, but let me know and we can talk through it again. Sarah, go ahead with the embroidery hoop.
Okay, so I actually have my son's, I'm working on making him a pillow for his crib. Batman, of course. And so, see here, I have this pillow. It's the same dimensions. I actually sewed it the exact to test out before we even bought the pillowcases if it was going to be feasible. So you have the opening. You want to make sure it's unzipped. You're going to take your smaller hoops. So there's, if you see that there are these 2 hoops, you got this one with a little screw on it. You want to make it looser. So you twist it towards yourself. To make it tighter, you twist it away from you. So we're going to loosen it so that they come apart. You're going to take this smaller one that doesn't have the metal clasp on it. You're going to put it inside your pillow. And honestly, position it wherever you have your, so like right here, I have the Batman symbol. So I'm going to position my hoop underneath it. And the way, oh, see, sorry, duct tape went. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine.
So you're going to take it and you're going to flatten. The way I do it is I put it flat on like a hard surface so that it's just easier to like make sure that it's completely pulled underneath. And you're going to take that other hoop and you're going to push it down on top of it and tighten it a little bit because it's going to be a little hard to twist it. And once you've gotten it at least a little bit secure, you start to tighten it some more. As you do that, pull the fabric because you want it to be taut so that way it's easier to stitch through and you don't worry about anything buckling or bunching up.
Also, I just wanted to add to that, the reason why we use an embroidery hoop is so the fabric doesn't get bunched up and your stitches won't be all meshed together.
And
it'll
so
keep it nice and taut.
Yeah, and that's how I did these stitches right here. I just outlined this. It's just a felt cutout that I made. And I'm just doing a blanket stitch around it. And this is also an applique that I made. I just used the interfacing and I ironed it on, and now I'm just stitching it on for detail and to be able to stand out a little bit more. And then just when you're done with it, you unscrew it, move it around to the next spot, and keep moving it around.
Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you. Thank you, Sarah. Is there anything else that you wanted to show me show them for this part?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Turn off
I am going to show. I'm going to talk about embroidery floss now, and I want to talk about what you have in the package for the embroidery floss, how we're going to and we're going to learn a couple of stitches. So you should have Sarah put needles for everybody, and she put it on the back of, she sort of laced it through some paper. So let's go ahead. You have that needle, put it to the side. What I want to show you is the embroidery floss. Usually, if you look at the floss, the edge of the floss, I'm going to let you can take a second and take the floss out. Each floss, it's called a floss, but you can call it thread. Each embroidery thread or floss has 6 strands. And usually when you do embroidery, unless you're doing very thick embroidery, you don't use all 6 strands. And for the ones that the embroidery that you're going to do on this pillowcase, I asked Sarah and she said she only used 3 strands. So when you are going to start to use your floss, hold your floss with the edge of your fingertips. Hold all of them together and sort of fan out the threads. Pull each thread that you don't want. So it has 6 threads. I don't want 3 of them, so I'm going to pull them out one by one, and you'll be left with 3 in your fingers. One more to go. Okay, so now I have 3 left that I'm going to use to embroider with. What I'm going to do is the end of the thread, I'm going to basically tie it together, make a knot. And this is just like making a knot. You could, like a shoelace knot, you basically just tie it together like that. I know that we didn't give you any like practice fabric to practice these stitches on, and you can just watch me do it, and I can send you videos of how to do it. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of stitches today. The stitches I'm going to show you are running stitch and back stitch, and if I have time, we'll show you blanket stitch. But if you have some extra fabric lying around, any kind of fabric that you have, you can follow along with me. Yeah, if you have something that you can put an embroidery hoop in, then you're welcome to follow along with what I'm doing here. So next thing I'm going to do is thread my needle, and sometimes it's hard to get in the eye of the needle. So a lot of times I just put some spit on the end and make it easier to pull through. It's hard. Okay, well, I'm trying to get this threaded. Any questions so far about taking the embroidery floss apart and how many threads you're going to use? Okay. So, and then I'm going to tilt the camera down, and I'm going to show you with my my fabric how I'm going to do this. Okay. Again, I'm going to show you the way that we put the embroidery hoop on. You want to unscrew this, and I'm screwing to make it looser. I'm actually making it tighter. I'm trying to make it looser. I'm pulling the I'm turning the screw closer to myself. But you know, feel it out which way it's getting looser, then you take it apart. So this is the inner hoop, and I'm going to lay that underneath my fabric. And as you can see the shape of the hoop. It's round. You want to loosen the outer part enough that it fits around that one. This one's giving me a hard time. Okay. There you go. And once you fit it around, you can make it tighter again. So, and you want to pull the fabric to make sure it's getting taut, tight, however you want to say it. And now I'm going to tighten it up again. I'm still pulling the fabric to make sure it's taut. Okay, my fabric is nice and tight here, and what I'm going to show you is two basic stitches. One is called running stitch, and one is called back stitch. And I usually draw a line with, this is a washable marker, and if you've been in my embroidery class, you know we use this often. Let me actually, well, I'm going to show you, yeah, let me actually show you the video that I have up first about this, and then you'll see it'll be easier for you to follow along what I'm doing. And I will send this video to you guys as well. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is a stitch called running stitch, and if you remember, Sarah had done running stitch on one of the examples I'd shown you. It's a good stitch that if you want to outline whatever you're making, you can outline with this running stitch. And you can play around with it and make a design that you like, but it's a pretty simple stitch to learn. So let's start. So she brings up the needle and sort of pokes it down through the fabric, and then brings it up, then pokes it down again, then brings it up. And you see she's not pulling it completely through the fabric. She's sort of running it through the fabric, hence why it's called running stitch. So the length that she's using, she's trying to keep it as uniform as possible. The more uniform you keep the length of the stitches, the nicer it will look. And it might take a little bit of practice to do that, but I think you guys should be able to, will be able to, inshallah, you know, keep it pretty uniform. Okay. So we'll get to backstitch in a second. And let me stop sharing. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do running stitch myself. It's sort of hard when your material is upside down to see what you're doing, but anyways, we'll see. Okay, my needle's coming up in the edge. Can't see as well because is my video stuck, or can you see it?
It's stuck. I can't see anything.
Okay. Let's wait a second because it sometimes does that. Okay, I'm just waiting for it to catch up. Okay, I think it's, yeah, there we go. Okay, so all I had done is I pulled the fabric, I pulled the thread through the fabric on the edge of the line that I had made. And running stitch is always going to be basically a linear stitch. Now I'm going to take my needle and puncture it through the fabric the length of what I consider a small stitch. And then I bring it up, then I bring it down, then I bring it up. And you do that a few times and then you pull it through. It's sort of bunched up. Okay. And that's as straight as I can make it upside down. But anyhow, and again, I'll just do it again. I'll just puncture down in the fabric, come up, puncture down, come up. So that's about 3 stitches, and then pull through, or 2 stitches, sorry. And you just keep going the length of what you want to do. How do you guys feel about that stitch and how doable it is?
It seems
that's
pretty doable.
Okay. Anybody have any concerns about doing this stitch? And I know maybe a lot of this stuff is, we can't say right now because you haven't done it yet, but hopefully, inshallah, I think you guys can get it. Let me do a couple more and then I'm going to show you back stitch. And I hope you, so on the thread I put that I will be mailing the inserts of these pillows to everybody's home. So I didn't opt to drop them off because I thought it would be really bulky for me to bring 50 pillows to everybody's home. So I'm just going to have it be mailed to you directly. Okay, the next stitch we're going to do is back stitch. It's also a straight stitch, and it's relatively easy. I think it's easier than running stitch, in my opinion, but it's a little bit more tedious, maybe. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and knot my back, and that's one thing I forgot to show you is how to end your work when you're done, so it doesn't pull out. But I'll show you with the back stitch, inshallah. So I'm going to make another line for my back stitch. That's one thing. I know you guys, not everybody has washable marker, but try to use something that is not permanent on the material that you're going to be putting these stitches on. So again, the bottom of my thread has a knot. And I'm gonna show you a short video about backstitch, and then I'll show you how I do it. Okay. Can you see my screen? Oh, thank you, Anissa. That is a good option. I didn't even think of that. Chalk. Anissa said chalk is a good option. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see the backstitch. So the first stitch, she comes up and then goes down, but the next stitch, she goes out a length of a stitch and then comes back. That's why it's called back stitch, because you're always stitching back. You come up the length of one stitch and then you go back. And you see how the running stitch had like sort of empty space in between that gave a different look. Back stitch has like it's a solid line look. So, a little bit of a different look. It depends on what you're going for and what you like better, but I'll just see a couple more of these. Okay, so let's pause that there. Okay. So again, what I'm going to do is I have my knotted thread. I'm going to come up on the edge of the line that I made. Oh, then it pulled through because the knot's not thick enough. Okay, so you come down the length of 1 stitch. Okay, so I've come down the length of 1 stitch, and then I'm going to go up and come up, leave like the space of 1 stitch in between that stitch and the next one we're going to do. So come up, and then you go back down to where the last stitch ended. You keep going until you get to the end of the row. How do you guys feel about this stitch? And the same thing with back stitch is that you want to make sure the stitches are pretty even. I'm not doing a great job because I'm sort of upside down and right side up or whatever I am. So you don't have to use like a measuring, you don't have to use a ruler or anything to make sure it's even, just eyeball it. And okay. So that's back stitch. Any questions about back stitch? I'm going to send the video to you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to figure it out from the video and from what we've done today. What I want to show you is how do you end your stitches. The way I usually end a stitch is, and what I mean by ending a stitch means you can't just leave your thread loose after you're done because the stitches will eventually come out. So what you want to do is whatever work you've had, you sort of interweave the back of your floss through the work. So I'm going to come up under the first stitch, then go underneath another stitch, and I'm going to do that until I feel like the edge of it is secure to the fabric, because I don't want there to be an opportunity for this the edge of this thread to come out. You don't knot it or anything, you just interlace it through the work you've done. And that also secures the work that you've done. Once you've done that a few times, you're safe to go ahead and cut your thread out, and it usually doesn't come out. So, and I usually, when I cut it, I leave about an inch or so there. You don't want to cut it too close because then that might cause it to come out too. Okay, any questions about back stitch or running stitch? Halima, do you have a question? Okay, so I want to take, I'm going to just take an example of a thread that a fabric that I have, and I'm going to attach it using, oh, I don't know, I'll use running stitch to attach it. And let me use a vibrant color that everybody can see, because this is going to be similar to what you guys are going to be doing. So I want you to see how you would attach fabric to it. And now I've lost my needle, so it's like embroidery 101, don't lose your needle.
A trick I wanted to share with everyone that my coworker actually used is if you have, it's funny, I actually tried to find these for you guys. I have a box of them and I couldn't find them until just today. But the circle magnets, just like if you have a strong magnet, use that to put your needle on, and she actually would have 2 magnets, one holding the other magnet, and keep her needle between those
Oh, that's a
two
good
on
idea.
her work. So then she would never lose it. It was actually a really smart idea. And
Oh, I
so
think it
thank you for reminding me to share that,
sounds.
because it hurts when you step on a needle.
And that is a true embroiderer or seamstress speaking, because that happens more often than I'd like to admit. I'm trying to use this messy embroidery thread I have. Okay, so I'm going to use this yellow. It's not showing up great there, but I'm going to use this yellow one, and hopefully I can weave that in. Halima, you didn't get a needle in your bag?
No, I didn't get a needle.
Check in your pillowcases, because some of them I slipped it inside so that it wouldn't fall out. If you just double check.
Okay,
I
okay.
tried to make sure.
Sorry guys, I should have had these threads already threaded, but the time has been crazy today. Okay, so I'm going to attach, this is just some fabric that I have, and I am going to sort of make an X design through the fabric using running stitch. So I'll bring it up, and I'm just choosing, I'm going to do in the middle of the fabric. I'm not even drawing it out really, which is probably not a good idea. But so I'm going to do running stitch, because I think that'll be a pretty nice statement on this. And you know, my fabric's moving around because it's not attached by fusible interfacing. Your fabric shouldn't move around like this, so it shouldn't have the same problems I'm having. But see how I'm starting to get a little design there. And if I did the design a little bit closer to each other, I'm making sort of big stitches, but so if you can see, I'm putting that yellow, I'm doing running stitch through that, and I want to do like an X design. Halima, did you? Sorry, Khadija, I don't understand your question. Should we fold the edges so the fabric doesn't frail with washing? Okay, sorry, it's not. It's like separated on my chat. Okay. I don't think we need to. You know, I don't think you need to fold the edges. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sara. I don't think so, right?
I did not do it with any of my fabric. It should be okay. If you feel that you want to fold it, the only one I did it on was the big rectangle with the crochet flower, because it was so large. And what I did was that, not that one, the other one.
Okay.
The purple flower. Yeah, because that one, the interfacing, what I did was I folded the fabric over the interfacing and then ironed it. So it like, yeah, like that. And that's why I only attach it at the corners, because I felt that it was good enough right there. If you feel that you want to fold it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It just will be really bulky and difficult to stitch. It would be easier to back stitch around, or even do like a blanket stitch around the edges.
You could
Yeah.
do this. Yeah, do back stitch around the edges, and it shouldn't come up then.
Yeah, it'll secure it and it'll give it less fray. But yeah, and it's all up to you. I mean, you don't have to, but if that makes you feel more comfortable, then there's nothing wrong with that either.
Like this is the other one that Sarah did, and it doesn't look like it's pulling up. But again, like we said in the beginning, the whole point of doing the embroidery on here is to just give it a little bit more security to the back. So what you could do is, if you don't want to do the whole thing as like back stitch or running stitch, you could take like you've ironed it on. You could like on the corners put a stitch or do a few stitches on the corners of your design so it doesn't come up. Does that make sense, Khadija? Okay, so Halima, you don't see one in your pillowcase. Halima, did you get 4 pillowcases?
I got one.
Okay, so that's what happened. So I think that there's been some so whoever picked from Mariam's house should have gotten 2 bags, and that's what I put in the chat. So
I just have this one green one. So
okay, Fatima, you should have 3 more. So there's 4 per person. So Fatima, Radia, Mariam, and Nizzy. I don't know if Nizzy's on, but did everybody else get 2 bags?
Yeah, I got 2 bags.
Okay, Fatima, you got 2 bags. And who else? Mariam, you probably pulled your own 2 bags because you're at your house.
We have 2 bags, but we're sharing. Me and Zainab. We're each doing 1.
Oh, no, not you guys. You guys got a little bit of a separate thing, but I'm talking about the ones I dropped at Mariam's house. Radia, did you get? Radia, did you? No, you're fine. Radia, did you get 2 bags?
I haven't picked mine up from their house yet. We're gonna go later after this.
Okay, that's fine. So Halima, it looks like one of your bags was left behind there. Khadija, did you get 2 bags, or have you picked them up yet? Okay, you got 2 bags. Okay, so Halima, I think what happened is the other one has your needle and it has 3 other pillowcases for you. If you guys can't get it tomorrow, let me know, inshallah, and then I'll try to get it to you, okay?
okay, we'll probably be able to get it tomorrow.
Okay. Because you guys, a few of you don't have your pillowcases and your stuff yet, I'm not going to do blanket stitch today. I think those 2 stitches are enough, and I'm going to wait for everybody to get their stuff, because then next time we can go over, if people are on have started, we can go over some of that and then learn how to do blanket stitch if you want to do that, inshallah. Okay? I didn't finish this, but you get the idea. That's how you attach the fabric. Okay. Any questions, concerns, or comments about the project itself? Any questions about where the pillows are going? The pillows are going to be made for seniors, I believe, in a nursing home. And we had thought of doing, I guess Sister Naima had thought of doing like a sort of a sadaqah project for Dhul Hijjah. Inshallah, it'll be a good service project and a good way to earn some sawab and make, nursing home residents a little bit happier, because it is quite lonely in the time of COVID that they have to sort of not see anybody. Any other questions? We might be ending early today because that's really all we have in terms of basic presentation of this project.
Thank you so much for putting this together. It's a really good project. And thank you, Rabia, for showing us how to do it.
I hope you guys enjoy doing it. I think it's going to be, if you like hobbies and crafting and all of that, I think it's going to be a fun project to do. And I will be sending you guys the pillow inserts in the next few days, inshallah. So you can go ahead and put the pillow inserts once you've made them and send us what your finished products look like. So with that, any last questions? I'm going to give it one more time. and then we're gonna say Surat al-Asr and call it a day. Sarah, you have anything else?
I have a question.
Sure. Who is this?
Mona.
Mona, okay.
So when is the last date we can submit these pillows?
That's a good question. I do not, let me look. Oh my God, Aisha, you already started the first part. Let me look at when's our next class. Okay, so 18th and the 21st. And then when is Dhul Hijjah?
Oh,
Okay.
the last day.
Sorry, go ahead, Leanne. What were you saying?
Yeah, the last day to bring them to the center is the 22nd.
The 22nd. Okay, so that's only 4 days from now. So we're trying to do this in the first 10 days of Ramadan. I mean, first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, and in 3 days will be when Dhul Hijjah starts. About 2 to 3 days, inshallah.
So
We don't
wait,
need
are they due on the 22nd, or I'm a little confused.
Sorry, what was your question? I think 2 people were talking at once.
Please go ahead, whoever that else was. Sorry.
No, I was just asking. We don't need a sewing machine or anything, right? It should be. I just joined late. I missed the.
Oh, did you join late, Nizzy? No, you don't need a sewing machine. Actually, whatever is included in the package is an iron-on transfer, and you can make any shapes you want with the iron-on transfer. And then we included some embroidery thread, so you can add, like Sarah's added some designs. And she's used embroidery. You can do, make any design that you want to make with it, inshallah.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, Anissa, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just a little confused. So are you saying that they're due on the 22nd, or because aren't we working on them next week? I didn't quite.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought we were working on them. We were going to have another day. So Leanne, can you explain more? Like, are we delivering them on the 22nd?
So we have another class on the 21st. And I'm pretty. I can double check with Auntie Naima, but I'm pretty sure you have to drop them off at the center by the 22nd, so that we can distribute them.
Okay, when is the distribution date for them?
Let me check.
Mariam, do you know? Any chance? Okay, Leon's checking. I didn't know that we didn't have that many days, but I think, inshallah, if you spend an hour or 2, it should be enough to make the 4 pillows.
I think when I did my 4 pillows, it took me a total of, let's say, about 3 to 4 hours to cut out the fabric, iron it on, and add the stitches. Because I remember I did them in a couple of nights so that we could try it out, make sure things were doable. So it's reasonable to get stuff done. It just depends on how complicated you want to get. That's really where it comes down to. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I just wanted to double check about when they were due.
Okay. I'm going to put more, if I know some more information, I'll ask Sister Naima if we have some flexibility about those dates, and I'll put it on our group chat. But inshallah, then if that means the 22nd, then please start working on them as soon as you can, and getting them together. At least try to plan them out and know what your game plan is for the 4 pillows, inshallah. So any other questions? Those were all good questions, and I didn't even think about when it was due. But I was thinking we'd have a few days in Dhul Hijjah, but it's okay, inshallah, we can get it done. So let me go ahead and finish our class, and inshallah see you next class in a couple of days. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Thank you guys so much for joining. Inshallah, take care.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Assalamualaikum.
Hafiz.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum.